I did a video a couple days ago about installing a secure Elegance, and that one didn't have to have a bar flip on it. So I got called this week about to show a video about it having a bar flip. So I have a security door that's going to require a bar flip, so I'm going to be able to show you guys step by step how to install this, on how to install it. So like always, I've always said to you guys before you start your install, you want to take your top Z-bar, and we'll go to the very top. Make sure you have clearance all the way down. Okay, because you want it, this is a front door, so you want at least 36 inches wide and 1 inch by 1 inch deep. Okay, so I have a more in-depth video about that a couple ones later. So I'm not trying to take all day on this one. Remember, take your hinge bar. Try to line it up to where it's at least the top of the bar is meeting with the header part of the jam. Don't go all the way up. If you go all the way up, then you will run into problems later. You'll run into problems with the sweep down at the bottom, not closing all the way, and then you'll run into a problem getting this actual header bar on there as well. So kind of leave you a little bit of room on both sides. That way, you know, you're splitting the difference. You can do 81 inches from the bottom of the threshold to the bottom of the top trim, or top of the threshold to the bottom of the top trim. Sorry. You want anywhere from 80 to 81 inches. I always try to hit right around 80 1/4 to 80 1/2. That way I don't ever have any problems. That's a lot of the storm door installs. If you're going to have problems, it's all going to be in your prep work. If you do not do your prep work correctly, then you're going to run into problems later when you already have the door on and you're tired and you're hot and you're irritated and frustrated, and you know, you see these guys take a door down 3 or 4 times. That's why. So if you do your prep work right the first time, you don't have to do all that, and you can make quick work of an easy project. So the screws that go into the hinge are these big fat pan heads. Okay, they're not very tall, but they got a big fat pan head. They go into the hinge. They do not go into the door to hold it onto the wall. I saw one a couple days ago from another installer that we kind of compete for work. I went and had to go do one of his repairs, and he had them in the bar up and down, and drove me nuts. Okay, so that little hole that we marked, and I tell you how to put it, where to put it. That's your pilot hang hole. I don't know how you want to actually say it, but whatever. Make sure you have that footer on there. They're going to look like this. Make sure you put that on first, because if you don't, you're not getting it on now. screws that I'm putting in there are these here. They're color match. They go into every hole on the side. All right, got that in. Now put your header bar across. See, I didn't have to find it, did I? That's why I tell you, leave enough room at the top when you do it. That way you can actually have some room to get them in. Okay. So you take your other bar, your other strike bar, right? Put your foot on. I'm dyslexic today. So it only goes on one way. All right. Like I've stated before, you have these to cut out. I don't know if you can actually see, but there's a cutout here and there's a cutout here. Okay. You got 2 more in the middle and 2 more at the bottom. The bar's gonna go in like this. Alright? The rubber seal's gonna go against the door jamb. It's always gonna be your top one. Bust it out from the inside. Bust it out from the inside. Don't worry about scratching it, because it's gonna be covered. So it does not affect the door whatsoever. All right. Like I told you before, go all the way up. Mark. Mark. Mark those slots open, okay? Now I always mark the middle one. That does not mean I cut the middle one out. I just mark it, okay? Okay, if I do have to cut it out, then I already have it marked, and it saves me time later. So the big bar flip. All right, so you can't really tell, but the lock is on the top here, right? And it's upside down. So you got to flip this whole lock mechanism here. All right, this is where it comes in. So there's Phillips screws that run all the way down this bar. Okay. You take the Phillips screws out, and for the love of God, do not take the star bit. These are the star bits right there. There's another one there. It actually holds that lock mechanism in. Don't take it off. It's not fun trying to get it back in. I've done it just so I could learn about the system and learn how they operate. But to put them back together, not fun. So you saw what I did? This little strike keeper. You take it, you flip it around. After you flip the bar. I know I do this so fast that people don't quite catch it sometimes. Okay, and then you put that screw back in. And it's real simple. That's the screw you take out, you flip the bar, spin the keeper, and then you're good to go. You put this back in, come all the way up. Alright, very, very important step right here, guys. So when you come all the way up, what you want to check is to make sure that the barrel right here, the square is a square barrel. You want to make sure that's lined up with this middle, the hole right here, where the handle is going to go. If you do not have that, just make sure it's center of that hole. If it's not center of that hole, when you go to put that door handle in, you're not going to be able to get that handle in because the hole's not lined up. Get in the hole. So this, like I said, this right here is very, very important. One of those things, again, the little bit extra time here will save you a whole lot of frustration later. Okay, so once you get the one in, I come down and I drill, pre-drill all your holes. Don't go in too hard, because if you do, you'll break your bit. And quite frankly, I don't want to replace a $5 bit like I did on the last store. Alright. They give you new screws to put them in, but the old screws work just as fine. I've actually found that the newer screws tend to hold it too tight, which in turn is going to cause an issue of the door to bind on the locking part of it. It kind of makes it bind up a little bit. So I always just reuse the screws, throw the new ones away. Never had a problem. So some of them can be a pain to get out, and that I've had to cut them out, you know, and that kind of thing. So, all right. Now the door handle. Instructions tell you to go ahead and cut out that bar. You know, the ones that you marked. I like doing this handle now. It just makes it easier. I'm not, you know, having to measure and overcut and all that kind of stuff. So instructions have you measuring over, and inside that pre-marked cut, it has you measuring over and doing all that. Man, that takes time. And time's money. So I found an easier way of doing it. If you find an easier way, by all means, rock on with it. But this is how I do it. So you take your handle, for the love of God, hand slope goes down. Don't put the handle sloping up. If you do, you're wrong. You just take a flat washer. It's a little white flat washer. It's always going to be a little white one. You take a D-ring, D-washer. You slide it over. Slide it over this part right here. Okay. You slide it right on over, and that's going to hold the square tube, right? The square box that I showed you guys earlier to make sure it lined up. You slide it in. I guess I can hold this where you can see it, huh? So slide it in, right? Take your Allen key, tighten it up. Don't over tighten it, because you will break this Allen key, and if you break this Allen key, unless you have another one, you're screwed. I have another one. All right, take your lock barrel. Take your lock barrel. Slide it all the way through. Slide it through. Okay. You're gonna take this gold screw, right? A little pan head, little dimple pan head. Just get it started. Don't tighten it up all the way. Okay. So you get that going. Just kind of snug it. Don't, like I said, don't get it too tight. Because if you get it too tight, then the lock itself won't work. All right. So then you got these two nice, shiny, pretty screws to go with a flat bar on the inside. So you slide it on. So you got it all tightened up, all buttoned up. Take the other black washer, right? Put it on. Like I said, for the love of God, the slope goes down. Give it a little love tap, and yes, you have to tap it in. It won't set unless you do. Okay, so now you have the handle on. Go up with the handle, and that locks it. All right, so now you know it locks. Now is when you want to tighten down the deadbolt to kind of snug it down. Because like I said, if you tighten it too down, if you tighten it up before, and it'll get too tight, and you're not able to actuate it. Okay, and even like right now, it's a little bit stiff. Just come up here and give all those anchor screws a little bit of a turn. I mean, not even enough to actually run the drill. I just let the torque in the drill, just the clutch to turn it. Yeah, see, it's a lot easier, and it operates. Okay. So now, instead of doing all that measuring nonsense, you leave your lock up. You can't quite see it in there, but as you shut the door with the locks engaged, okay, so let me bring y'all in. All right, so this is the bar. This is where you actually marked it before, right? With the actual other bar. And then this part here is where those locks are going to go into. So what you will actually cut out, you'll cut this part out, right? That little half moon. You'll cut it out that deep, okay? So that's what you're going to be cutting out. Now you see down here in the middle, we're actually just rubbing. That's where that keeper is going to catch. And the same thing down here at the bottom. So you're going to cut, so it's kind of hard to do. You're going to cut this out right here, and you're going to cut that out right there. Okay, and that's going to allow room for your locks to go into. Okay, all right, I'll be right back. All right. Hey, I still got people watching. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really do appreciate it, guys, that are saying on. I don't know who you are. I can't tell who it is. Somebody's saying something. I can't even see what it says. All right, I always put one screw in, kind of shut the door, go over the handle, lock it. And that's it, guys. So it locks. Next thing is your sweep. Sweep is still. Oh, Jamie said. Jamie, what did you say earlier? Or are you just saying you're watching? So your seal, right? Has a little V seal. There's this track down at the very, very bottom. See it right there? Right here? Alright. You're going to start it going through. Get it going. Get it started. Right? Pull it. Some of these are hard and some of these are easy. So as soon as you get it going, okay. So now it's going. Kind of pull up just a little bit. Keep it down here at the bottom. See, keep my hand out. I'm keeping it hard, keeping it kind of straight, and kind of feeding it in, but not really. You just don't want it to get twisted up on you. Okay, come all the way down. All right. Very important. Take pliers. Crimp it down. Crimple. Okay, crimp the corners. A lot of times I hear homeowners when they're talking about their other installers or they're talking about different things. They'll say, "My installer, that installer, cut the seal too short." No, it's physically impossible to cut this seal too short and still get it in. Whoever can do that, I want to see it and show me a trick, because I don't know it. It's what it is. They never crimped it. It's what it is, and that over the different weathers and everything, it causes it to retract. All right, I don't know what's wrong with the internet out here, but it's messing up my system. So, hello. Hi, how are you? I'm the owner. All right, well, let me get this out here. All right, on the sills here, remember, that side goes on the outside, right? And then you all know the actuators as well. Check out my previous videos and I'll show you how to install those actuators. Other than that, y'all have a great day. Thanks.